Hey folks, I just shot a feedback video, but it's a long video, so I'm cutting it up into two parts. The first part's coming now, and the second part goes up tomorrow. As you can see, I'm not in my normal studio, but it doesn't matter, because I want to go over some reactions from videos this week, and I feel like talking to my phone like this is just, it's a lot more informal, and I can maybe get out a little more emotion than usual, because some of these comments this week are crazy and some are great. It's a mix. I don't hold back. So here we go. But first, before I get to the comments, I want to mention that I have a new video up for patrons at Patreon.com/TheRationalNational. There's a video there I'm just putting up now. It's actually currently uploading. It is my first reaction to watching the Hillary Clinton thank you note video from The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. Now, I hadn't seen the video before. It was posted earlier in the week, and I thought this would be a good video to save and discuss on the show, but I didn't want to know what was going to be in it. So I watched it for the first time. You could see my live reaction in it, and then I talk a bit about it, and maybe it was a great video. Maybe I made all positive comments. You don't know. You just have to, I guess you gotta become a Patreon. So for $3 a month, you get access to that content, and every week I also post an exclusive video for patrons just discussing some more issues that I'm not able to get to in the show, and I discuss it more informally, sort of in this manner. And yeah, so help support the show if you like what I do. It helps me continue making these videos, and also hopefully continue making exclusive content for patrons. The more that the channel grows. All right, cool. Now, let's get to some comments from the week. So, it was kind of a depressing week of news, but it started off positive. So, last Sunday, Canada picked a new leader for their progressive party, the NDP, Jagmeet Singh, and it was actually a live stream video. So it was the first time I did a live stream on my channel. Maybe I'll do more of them. It depends on what the content is. If I feel like it's something I can cover in the moment, then I will. So I did a video on that, and there's actually just one comment that I wanted to highlight here. From Clear Vision 10, NDP is a socialist party. It is detached from religion. Having a leader who wears his religion on his head doesn't bode well for where the party is headed. I was for Nikki Ashton. She would have been elected, but she was critical of Israel. She could not get the backing she needed to win the leadership. Okay, so there's a few points to this comment that I want to discuss. The first part is, this person believes that having a religious symbol on his head, so Jagmeet Singh is a Sikh man, so he wears a turban. It's saying it doesn't bode well for where the party is headed. I don't think that, I think he's wrong. So there seems to be two types of, I mean, there's many types of progressives, but there's two progressives on this particular issue, on religion. So some feel that we should completely discredit anybody who is religious as somebody who's just out of touch, and they're practicing these ancient religions that really aren't based on any scientific evidence at this point. And then there's this other section of progressives that feel, sure, I may not agree with your religion, but I will defend your right to believe it, and it doesn't affect me if you're religious or not. I'm in the later camp. I grew up Catholic, but I don't consider myself religious at this point. I don't see the point of having religion when I don't think you shouldn't have to be religious to be a good person. And if you do, if the only reason you're a good person is because you're afraid that you might go to hell, maybe re-examine who you are. Maybe see a doctor. Because you shouldn't just be a good person because you're afraid of hell. You should be a good person because that's naturally what makes us feel good, is to be kind to other people and do good things to help the world. So I'm just concerned about the politics, the policies, the actual platform, what Jagmeet Singh is planning to do once he becomes leader, now that he's leader, once he actually gets into power, if he were to get into power, what sort of leader would he be, and what sort of platform would the NDP be following? That's what I'm concerned about. I don't think having a religious symbol, or I don't think being religious or having a visible religious symbol should affect you either way. Just quickly, I guess the next point of that comment, this person believed that Nikki Ashton couldn't become leader because she was critical of Israel. I don't think that was the reason. I think it was mainly because Jagmeet Singh was a very charismatic person, candidate. He was the most charismatic candidate out of those running for the NDP leadership, and that aided him in becoming leader. And in this way, being in the NDP, a progressive party, it helped that he was a visible minority. It made him stand out, and that combined with his charisma, and I guess you could say some of his policies. I don't think he was as specific on his policies as Nikki Ashton was, but that's not to say that Jagmeet Singh is not a progressive or doesn't believe in progressive policy. So we just have to see where things move from here. On to the next video. Reactions to Vegas shooting. So this first comment is from Zome GT Forley. Stop assuming that every time an asshole starts murdering innocents that they're automatically mentally ill. It's ass backwards thinking that shit's all over those that actually do have mental issues. And it'll do jack shit to solve the problem. Some people are just evil, and that's the cold hard truth of America and the world as a whole. So I 100% disagree with this comment. I think really everybody that commits some sort of terrible act is mentally ill in some way. Now, where people like this commenter come from, they think that tying mental illness to terrible acts somehow automatically paints everybody with a mental illness as a bad person. That's obviously not true. A lot of people have some sort of mental ailment, whether it's anxiety or depression or whatever. That doesn't mean that everybody with a mental ailment is now we have to be worried about them shooting up or causing a mass shooting or whatever. So I don't even know if I mentioned mental illness in this video, but I think this commenter brought it up because it's generally what comes up in these situations. Now that said, I think the focus should be on better gun control, better gun regulations. And of course, mental health care should be taken care of, but shootings shouldn't be the main reason that the government should look after mental health care. It should really just be for the betterment of their citizens. And it would have the possible added benefit of preventing more of these mass shootings. Now, there's another part of this I wanted to mention here. Oh yeah, so evil. So this person just thinks some people are just evil. I also don't agree with that. I don't think evil is a thing. So when you actually look at what you would call evil people, when you look into their history, oftentimes they come from abusive homes. Or there's a pattern of mental illness, whether in their family or in them, the actual person that caused whatever terrible thing they did. So these acts can be explained if we actually scan the brains of these people and actually look into their history and who influenced them, and watch as that person grew from an abused child, for example, into an adult who is now a serial killer. Those connections can and are made. So no, evil doesn't just exist in the world and it's like some magical bubble of air that just catches you, now you're a bad person. That doesn't make any sense. These things are scientifically explained. So no, evil doesn't just exist. This actually ties kind of into the previous video where religion, I mean, these are religious beliefs. Religion believes that there's the devil and then there's God. And the devil works in some people and God works in other people. That's what people thought when there was no science, when there was no actual mental health care, when we couldn't actually look at brains and how they function and how experiences cause us to be different people. But now we know better. Next comment. So Lulu H commented, typical Hillary Clinton exploiting disaster for political gain. I think Bernie had the better reaction. And then Ingi Desu replied, not sure if I would say exploiting, but she has been a passionate person on gun regulations. I may not agree with the details with her policies in some specific areas. However, this may be one, if not the only issue that Hillary Clinton may actually be genuine about. Other than that, she can eat a bag of dicks for all I care. Okay, so let me agree with the first part and then disagree with the second part. So I agree that if there is one issue that I think Hillary Clinton is genuine about, I think it's gun regulations. She has appeared to be consistent on this issue dating back to the 90s. So this is one issue where she's always been for more gun control, which is why I believe she is genuine about this. Now, that doesn't mean I think she should eat a bag of dicks. I think that's maybe too far. Maybe just like one dick, like 2 dicks, not like a whole bag. That's like abuse. You don't want to just abuse somebody because they don't agree with you. That's not right. But no, seriously, I don't think anybody should be. I don't I don't condone that sort of language towards people I disagree with. I get this person maybe just kind of joking, but yeah, I'm not. I think it's much more productive to focus on the policies and the issues and refuting their policies based on history and why more progressive policies would actually be successful in place of the typical neoliberal policies that Hillary Clinton represents. But in this case, on gun control, I largely agree with her. Next comment. How about we issue every citizen a sidearm like the Wild West? This kind of shit would stop overnight. So would police misconduct. Sorry, guns aren't the problem. Assholes are the problem. Kind of. It's assholes with guns. So there are assholes in every country. Every country has assholes. Not every country has the access to guns that America does. And that's why there's a disparity between America in shootings and every other country in shootings. And I'm not even just talking about mass shootings. How about suicide? Suicide by gun is much more common in the US, and it is the easiest way to kill yourself. Now, not having access to a gun in other countries then prevents people from easily killing themselves and maybe getting over that moment of depression and being able to seek help and get better. Because largely, if someone wants to commit suicide, I imagine they don't want to go through any pain. And there really is no option for a painless death, whether it's taking too many pills, whether it's jumping off a bridge. Killing yourself with a gun is the quickest, most effective, painless way to go. And that's why a lot of people in the US make that their choice for killing themselves. Now, I think it totally makes sense that you would think assholes are the problem. And I get it. Because you could have access to a gun, but if you're not, in this person's mind, an asshole, you're not going to kill anybody. But it's a lot easier to get rid of guns than to get rid of assholes. Is it not? Can we agree on that? Guns are a physical thing. Turning an asshole into a nice person is a much longer, harder process and involves a lot of focus and education, and you likely aren't going to succeed in the end anyways. So taking their access to guns away makes a lot more sense.